Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the business end of an iron lung. And that sound that you hear is the air being forced into the lungs so that the patient can breathe. And if anyone should pull the plug, stopping that air, the patient would die within a minute. I think perhaps I should tell you why I am here in Providence Hospital in Washington in the polio unit. Last spring, I did some special reporting on that wonderful discovery, the Salk polio vaccine, and I discovered what I think most people don't know, that the Polio Foundation borrowed up $9 million to pay for that vaccine so that the children of America could have it without waiting one more summer. Well, that investment, as you know, paid off, and the children of America were saved countless cases. Well, some people thought that this year we wouldn't have to have a March of Dimes drive, but in my opinion, it's all the more necessary, not only to pay back that $9 million, but to help thousands of cases, people who contracted polio long before. So I'm delighted to do my small part in the March of Dimes drive. And as chairman of the Iron Lung Committee, it occurred to me that perhaps I should do what any ordinary newspaper man usually does, get the facts by reporting from inside an iron lung. So if you'll excuse me for a minute until I can put on my pajamas and the proper apparel, I'm going to report to you what it's like to be inside an iron lung. Now, with the help of these young ladies, I'm going to go inside this iron lung just as nearly as possible like an ordinary patient, and I'll try to report to you on what it's like inside.
All right, Mr. Pearson. Watch your head. Watch your head. Slip down a bit. That's it. Mr. Pearson, while you're pushing through, watch your nose.
All right, here I am. I know a lot of people would like to get me in a position like this.
Tight squeeze. Squeeze, huh?
It's a little tight.
Has to be tight so the pressure will stay in.
See, well, you go ahead. You're the bosses. I'll trust you.
Okay, all right, now we're pushing you through. Watch your elbows. Now take a breath. Let it out. How does it feel?
It's pretty good.
Going too fast?
No.
Would you like more pressure, do you think?
I don't think so. I think that's all right. It's a little hard to breathe, but I'm all right. I confess that I don't know exactly how to describe this. You have to synchronize your breathing because you, of course, the lung is helping you to breathe, but I'm not quite used to exactly when to breathe and when to talk. I don't believe I could really give a broadcast from this lung or a telecast. At least not at the rate of speed I'm supposed to talk. You also feel as if you were sort of away in a world all your own, with nothing to look at except this little mirror, and nothing else in the world except that. Of course, you can't, your body feels sort of separated from your head, and you can move your arms, and I can move my feet and arms, I suppose, of course. The average patient can't, because that's why he's in the lung, because he's paralyzed. I must say that I'm glad I don't have polio. I suppose this neck piece has to be tight in order to keep the air out.
That's to keep the pressure in.
Oh, I see.
May I ask you a question? On the way over
I don't know whether I can answer it.
On the way over to the hospital today, what were your thoughts on getting into an iron lung?
Well, you know, I thought maybe I'd get a little sleep for a change.
I think you found it quite different, didn't you?
Well, it is a little different. You know, I've been in a lot of tight spots in Washington, but I think this is about the tightest. Could I have a little water?
Certainly may.
By the way, what do you do when you shave in the morning?
Well, you leave that to the nurses or perhaps maybe an orderly. But you see, we do all the work. You don't do any.
You know, my wife would be grateful for one thing. She never likes it when I tweak my mustache, and now I can't tweak it. But would you mind scratching that place in my...
Which side? Your right side?
The right side of my... Thank you. Fine. Have you ever been in an iron lung?
Yes, I have. I did get him to try it out once. Like yourself, I was curious, and I wanted to find out just how it felt.
Are you from Washington?
Yes, sir, I am. In fact, I was born right here in this hospital, on this floor.
The baby ward? I saw the babies next door.
That's the place.
By the way, what time is it?
I have about 9:45. Mr. Pearson, we have a very nice, young, attractive polio patient in the next room. Would you like to meet her? Her name's Betty Grant. She's been here in an iron lung since August.
I'd love to meet her. Could you bring her in?
All right. I'll bring her in while Miss Green brushes you up your hair a little bit.
Yeah.
After all, she is a very attractive young lady. We have to make a good impression. Looks like they're bringing Betty in now. Mr. Pearson, this is Mrs. Grant. This is Betty Grant.
How are you,
How do you do,
Grant?
Mr. Pearson?
Very nice to have company here.
I've always wanted to meet you. I read your column in the Post. But I never thought we'd meet under these circumstances.
Well, it's just a little bit peculiar, I'll admit. Have you been... Excuse me, I haven't quite learned how to breathe. I see that you have. But have you been in a lung some time?
I've been in since the 13th of August.
How are you getting along?
Well, I think I'm progressing it slow but sure. Right now, I only sleep in the lung. At night, I spend the better part of my day on the rocking bed, and I use Monahan chest respirator also.
Well, that's wonderful. You were out most of the day.
Yes, it's quite a change.
Tell me, do you have any children?
Yes, Mr. Pearson, I have one. I have one little girl. Her name is Kathy, and she's 2 years old.
Can she come to see you in the hospital?
Oh, yes, she can. The sisters have granted a special permission to bring her in over the weekend.
That must be wonderful for you.
Oh, yes, that's the bright spot of the week.
Tell me, are you a patient of the National Polio Foundation?
Yes, I am, and they're wonderful people. I don't know what I would have done without them. As you know, it's quite expensive now to be in a hospital, and all this equipment is quite costly. But I think if more people realized the wonderful work that they do and just how far one of their dimes will go,
Well,
and help us.
I'm awfully glad to hear you say that, and I hope an awful lot of people will remember that during the March of Dimes. You know, I want to make a prediction. The rate you're going, I'm going to predict that you'll be out of this iron lung and back with your little girl before very long. And that's one that I want to make.
With God's help, I will, Mr. Pearson.
And I certainly hope that's going to be a prediction that'll be more than 83% accurate. I'm going to be back in a few minutes with some more predictions. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
How I felt inside that iron lung is not important. But how Mrs. Betty Grant felt is all important. The fact that she's getting well, thanks to the Polio Foundation and an iron lung. So remember that when you give to the March of Dimes. Remember that polio isn't licked yet, and that these iron lungs are terribly expensive, and that every community needs one badly in emergency. And also remember that sound. It's a strange sound, but it's breath of a new life to thousands of people.